Yo, welcome back everyone to the Sean Atwood channel. We're back for Friendly Fire. It's a big night tonight. Thank you all for being here. And before we jump into everything, I just want to say thank you very much to Torrei for being here, our latest guest, one of SAMSUN's friends, and I can't wait to learn all about you. But before we do that, Mr. SAMSUN, you are just the most handsome devil, and
wow,
I just want to see how you are doing this week, sir. Look at that.
Pretty good. That's a huge compliment coming from Lil Yum Yum.
Look at that guy. Yeah.
This is my son does. They do this like.
Yeah, I don't get that Riz at all.
Lips. No. I think they call it face smacking.
It's It's foolery. Okay.
Riz. It's tomfoolery. Yes. Face smacking, which is like, you know, like lip smacking or something, or face. It's like facing where you just like lip.
Yeah. Do you know the Riz that I teach my son is just show how to properly cut firewood, and the right woman will find that as the.
That's true.
The appropriate Riz.
You're so Scottish, Ron. I love it. I just picture you in the kilt. It's like a misty mountain hop. You know what I mean? And you're in the kilt, and you're.
Yeah, no, listen, my kids have never cut firewood in their goddamn life. We got central heating here. We're very, very modern, right? But all I'm saying, there's things that, you know, we got past.
I ordered firewood on Amazon.
Hell yeah, 2025 people. That is the Alaskan way right there. I just want to say to everybody who has got their little symbol that you can see on the screen here up in my top corner. The little symbol, all the people in the side chat using that, I really appreciate you. More to come on that in the movement. If you want to find out more right now, scan the QR code.
I'm gonna do that right now, Ron. I think that's pretty cool. I love that logo.
Yeah.
You're not explaining it though, right? Or I don't want to.
Well, technically, it's not a logo. A logo would signify that there's a name or a brand behind it. It's just a symbol for a movement, and that movement stands against the cruelty of children.
Got it.
Pretty easy to get behind, you know what I'm saying? If you give something a name, you have trouble with language barriers and all the rest of it. So yeah, there we are right there. But listen, Torrei, we're not here to hear about that just yet. Okay, we've got plenty of time for all that. I want to hear a little bit about you. So let's do the classic introduction. Give us a little bit of who you are, what you're doing now, and then we'll delve into how you got there.
Right. What's up, everybody? So I'm an actress, comedian, producer. I do music. What else? A mother. Shit. Just living life. Just doing what I do. So that's you know what I mean?
You have amazing lipstick on today.
Oh, thank you. It's called Heroin.
Purple. Really?
Yeah, it's called Heroin.
I would have thought it's called like Purple Rain or something like that, you know?
No, it's by MAC and it's called Heroin. I literally just landed from Detroit. I had to not to get sad and sappy and shit, but I just got back from my uncle's funeral, so that's why I'm in the car and looking like looking like a vagabond. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, Ron, I'll tell a quick amazing story about Tori. She booked me to do a show with her a couple of years ago, and Joe Torrei was the host, and Tori was filming, or she was doing like a half hour of comedy headlining, a hilarious half hour, by the way.
Thank
And
you.
in the audience after the show, this man comes up to me and he goes, "Wow, you were just fabulous." And I look over and it's Stevie Wonder. And I was like, "Wait a minute, how did you know it was me?" Because he heard me talking. So he was able to identify my voice. And then, you know, of course, he was there to see Torrei. So I, you know, quickly took some pictures for Torrei and everything. But it was, you know, Torrei is so well connected in the business. So
do you ever think, right? Stevie Wonder, right? It was Stevie Wonder that you said, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
You know those stories where like you hear about somebody who starts work at a new office and their boss calls them the wrong name on day one and they're stuck with that name forever, right? I often wonder if Stevie Wonder had those glasses on and somebody just said out loud that, you know, he was blind on day one and he just had to roll with it, because there's been a lot of moments with Stevie Wonder where he's talking to someone and it looks like a lot like, you know, there's something going on there. And I often do wonder if he just had to stick with it his whole life. You know, obviously not, right? Obviously, clearly not. But it's one of those ones for me. But what was your experience in relationship and, you know, encounters with Stevie like, Torrei? Because he is a legend.
Well, the funny thing is I didn't know he was in the audience either. So me and SAMSUN both were surprised, and he came up to me after, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I'm a fan," and I was like, "What?"
Oh, hell yeah!
So,
I mean, but what's that like? I mean, what's that like? Obviously, I mean, it's one thing, if, you know, in the Twitter sphere and the Instagram sphere of the modern world, but to have an icon actually be at one of your shows and not, I mean, I imagine there was no fuss made about it. It wasn't like, "Oh, I'm coming to the show, let everyone know," and all this kind of stuff. It must have been fairly like he was there for the talent.
No,
right?
I had no idea he was there until after I got off stage. So it was nice. I mean, it was wonderful. I was in shock. I was just like, "Oh shit, it's Stevie Wonder."
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, man. I mean, that's rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Right.
And Torrei, will you tell us, the audience, just a little bit about your stand-up, how you talk about, you know, your ex-husband and how, you know, like I say, you have just such a wonderful perspective as a divorced mom, and you're raising kids and you're a comedian in the business. So can you just tell our audience a little bit about that?
Right. So my ex-husband is Kevin Hart. And so we have 2 kids together, and you know, my stand up is basically, it's based off of, you know, my kids being rich and I'm not. So they're living this fabulous, like, rich life. And I always tell them, I'm like, "Shit, I slept with a midget for you to live this life. I'm the one that should be getting respected around here, okay?
Hell yeah.
Like, show me a little bit more respect. I set you up for life, okay?"
Yeah.
So my humor comes from that, of course. You know, and of course my children, I talk about dating, because it's dating after being married to someone so famous and rich is it's not easy for me at all. And I don't typically look like this, people, so I am a good looking
You look
woman,
amazing,
okay?
Torrei. Stop it. And you have a movie coming up. I'll let you continue, but I want to talk about that too.
Oh yeah, which one? I have a few coming up. I don't know if you've seen them. So
well, I'd like to. I want to hear about them all. And also, look at this beautiful picture from Crack 'Em Up.
Are we just skimming? Are we really skimming that fast past the Kevin Hart is my ex-husband thing?
No, we're not. We're not. So stay with us.
Now listen.
That's
the only reason
ADHD.
the only reason I'm saying that, right, is I had no idea. Right? I mean, I'm one of these guys. I had no idea, right? So, I mean, that is mad.
Go ahead.
That is mad.
I agree.
I don't even know what I want to ask. I just want to sort of stay and just let it process for a second. So,
oh yeah.
what was that like to? I mean, I would love to see your comedy, because it sounds like the whole sort of framework of it being based off of the fact that famous ex-husband, kids are living the lifestyle, and you're sort of playing off that. Sounds brilliant, right? Absolutely brilliant. So tell us a little more, right? So what was your main drive to get into stand-up? Like, what was, I always like to ask people this, because the journey into stand-up seems to be different for some people. And tell us about how you dealt with your first major stumble, whether it was when you were starting out on stage or not quite going right or whatever, and how you got over the failures. I think it's easy for people to talk about the things that they can do really well, but when it comes to the audience, it's always good to hear how we can sort of help people through these moments. So what was your journey? What got you into it in your first major disaster, if you don't mind sharing, Tori?
The first bomb.
My first bomb. Well, I honestly, I never really bombed.
Hell yeah, my G. That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear.
I mean, I've had moments where the crowd might have been quiet or whatever, but I'm really quick on my feet, so I know how to pick it back up and be like, okay, hold up, okay, what's going on, and I'll dance shit. I'll do whatever I need to do to get back in that pocket. I'll whatever. If I gotta rub my titties on somebody's head, I'm rubbing my titties on somebody's head. I don't care. That's just what it is. So
and can I ask, those moments where you've got to think on your feet, right?
Right.
When you're tapping into what to say next, are you tapping into material, or are you tapping into chatting to a group of people in a house party in a kitchen from 6 years ago and something that kind of pops up? Is it pre or is it off the cuff? Because what sort of when you have those moments, where do you take the knowledge from, if that makes sense?
I can't. It just happens. It's like it's just something that happens when you're on stage. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's a person that was in the audience. Sometimes I think of jokes that I've done before, and it goes with me being on my feet. Sometimes it's something the previous comedian may have said, and I tap into that. So you just never know. I mean, that's where being quick on your feet. That's where it happens. It's improv. I host a lot, so naturally I can always pull something or figure something out. It just happens. I can't explain it.
But it's a little bit of both, like kind of, because it's part improv when you're like in that moment and present, kind of improvising, whether it's crowd work, and then the other half is like, oh, okay, now I can slide this religion bit in. This, it's like you're saying, Tori, it's almost like for me personally, it's like a flow that I get into where I'll generally start out improvising off the energy of the audience. And then if I come back a little bit, right into material and start punching them if they're coming down off that improv. And then you can get back into improv or continue with material, Yeah.
Now, so let me just ask you one more thing as well. Sorry. When you go on, sorry.
Oh, it's a little staticky.
Oh, it's a little staticky.
A little staticky.
Okay. Can you hear me just now, Tori?
I can, but it's like really
what to do is exit and then come back in again, like leave and then rejoin.
Yeah, leave and just come back in.
That usually fixes it.
It's Ron. I really like your barcode.
One second. Go ahead. Hard Target. You're live. You're live on Friendly Fire, my podcast right now. How are you doing, my G?
I'm good,
gangster. How's the music biz?
Going good, man. Just having fun.
Well, nice. Well, listen, we've got a new podcast starting at 9 o'clock in about an hour, bro. That's all about keeping the kids and saving the kids. I've sent you the links and stuff. I just wanted to make sure you've seen that. Like I say, I'm live just now, but I'll touch base in between podcasts with you, brother. All right.
Sounds good, brother.
All right. Much love, my G.
All right, bless.
Oh, there we go.
There she is.
If you don't know Hard Target, go and check out Hard Target on YouTube. He is a absolutely incredibly talented hip hop artist who has like a little sort of westerny country twang to. I mean, it's not really. It's badass hip hop. I'm not gonna lie. But, it's the guy's got serious talent.
Hey, Ron, do we have that Torrei clip though that we could play if we want when the time's right? But I do want to get a little bit more back into your set, Torrei, just with how you speak about Kevin, how it relates to so many women who have dealt with divorce. And like you're saying, like in a lot of cases, maybe the wife is more rich, maybe the husband is, and dealing with that. But what I love is that you have to do it to the highest of that, and talk to people and tell them, you made Kevin, like you talk about in your stand-up, you kept the name because, and how women build half of a man's business a lot of time, they couldn't do it without you. I remember you were driving Kevin around or helping him get weed or helping him get money, like you were his comedy crutch. So just tell people a little bit about that, like back in the comedy playground days.
Yeah, great.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I'll never say I made somebody because I can't take his work ethic away from him. He's the hardest working person that I know. Was I there? Of course, from the beginning, before he ever hit a stage, his support system, we were 19 and 20. You know what I mean? So been around since day one, driving back and forth to New York, to shows, selling tickets, sitting in the back of the clubs, punching things up, saying, try it this way, bouncing ideas, the muse, all of that. I truly believe without me, there's no him. Without him, there's no me, because that's how God designed it. We met at community college, and it was destiny. That was how it was supposed to happen. So I definitely, am like blessed in that sense, because I got a bird's eye view into the comedy world. A lot of people don't know that I was class clown in high school. So being class clown, being class clown in high school is just like, I was destined to meet my husband. He was going to end up being a comedian. I was going to end up in the comedy world one way or another, and not realizing that this is how my life was going to go. So,
and was that in Philadelphia you guys met?
Yeah, that was in Philadelphia.
Okay. Nice. Yep. And you went to the same high school, or?
No, we went to community college together.
Oh, community college, you said. Okay, so right after high school. Community college
in Philadelphia, right after high school. Okay. We dropped out together. We moved in together after about 2 months and ended up together, and then moved out to LA together. Yeah.
And then had you guys both started doing stand-up then?
So no. So what happened is, I used to sell stuff door to door. I was a salesman. And I was so good at selling shit that I always would win the prizes. I was always winning prizes and what have you. So one of the prizes was to a jazz club called Zanzibar Blue. And Zanzibar Blue was the first time I ever went into a club, and they were doing jazz, but then they also were doing stand-up. So that was like my first introduction to stand-up. I mean, I always, outside of seeing Def Comedy Jam on television, and my parents were always listening to albums all the time, listening to Moms Mabley, Richard Pryor, Fred Sanford, so I was always surrounded by comedy. And then my family, if you don't have a comedy gene, or if you're not quick in my family, you will get roasted, because that's what we do all the time. We roast all the time. So, just had to be quick. And then after that, I fell in love with comedy. So I was constantly going to the jazz club, constantly seeing it. And me and Kevin, we didn't start even doing comedy and stuff like that until probably a year after I had got introduced to that world.
Is it possible that you introduced Kevin to stand-up?
No, not at all. Because he was always telling jokes in the cafeteria.
Well, sure, but I'm saying, were you doing stand-up kind of before him, and like, did he go to that jazz club and ever get up there?
No, I was doing that by myself. So that was something that I was doing on my own. That was like my thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would go with like the people that I work with, our friends or what have you. But no, I can't, like I said, I can't take any of the credit from him. I was a part of his journey. I helped, of course. But I can never say, it was me.
No, I get that. Yeah. I just think it'd be, whatever. If it's like, to
be honest, maybe. I feel like just being the support network and the go-to for somebody who has been on such a colossal journey like Kevin Hart is enough to sort of sit back and be like, well, if you remove me from this equation, maybe he wouldn't have gotten to where he was as fast, or we wouldn't have had the support that he had, and things like this. And I think when we look at what truly makes someone is love and support,
right?
And that's massive testament to you. I just want to say to the side chat, I will allow 3 questions from the whole audience at the end of this that concern Kevin Hart to Torrei, right? Just in case anybody, because you're all going to be wanting to know some madness. 3, that's it. And I will pick them myself. Now, one thing I always ask comedians, and I asked this to SAMSUN, it's about the material when you go into a set. And when you talk about thinking fast on your feet, when you go in to do a set routine, if you got the majority of your material locked in, and if you see it's not starting to work, that's where you sort of put in the U-bends and the turns. And does that steer back sometimes to the original content, or do you have to chop and change? Because when I was talking to SAMSUN, I'm one of these people that people have said for my whole life, oh, you're so funny, you should do this. And it was always the process of making the material that was the hard part for me. Standing in front of a room of people and then starting to put together something always in my head felt a bit more natural, but it's not the professional way of doing it. But how does it work for you? Do you have a set material, and how do you cope with having to circle, if something's not working?
I guess pretty much most of my material comes from real life situations and moments. Okay. So I usually get material from dating, or I'll get material from the kids, or, my family, or, I'll do topical jokes, but I don't really do too many topical jokes because it's too easy for me. And I feel like everybody does it. So my story is so unique that I always like tap into that story some type of way. So, and then sometimes on stage, like when I'm hosting, a joke will just naturally come because I'm doing crowd work, and in that crowd work, I get a response from somebody, then I can crack a joke there, and I'm like, oop, that's a big laugh. Or if I'm naturally in conversation with people and they're cracking up, I'm thinking of, okay, what made them laugh? Okay, let me write that down because they're laughing. So that's a joke. So, and then I build a premise around it because I already got the punchline if they're cracking up on just my natural conversations. So I think when you just think of natural conversations, and you have to start thinking like that all the time, because you know like with musicians, some of them be like, oh, that's a song. If they say a bar to somebody, like I hang around a lot of rappers because I also do music. And so I'll say stuff to them and they're like, that's a bar, that's a song. And so now I'm more, cognitive of that too. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's a song, that's a bar. So just like with comedy, you just think like if they laugh, oh, I made them laugh with that and I wasn't even trying, then that's a bit, and I'll go write it down and then I'll use it later.
Yeah. And Torrei, how do you, and I know a lot of people out here probably say this to comedians, the thing we get most is, hey, so you're going to use that on stage, and like explain to people, like, how do you differentiate between what somebody says, hey, wasn't this hilarious? Are you going to use that in your bit? I mean, we get it all the time. You're like, no, it was not funny in the way that you think it will be funny to take to stage.
Oh, I would make my whole act based off of that. The terrible things that people think are great for comedy.
They're funny, and I'll just try it. Honestly, that's funny. I just terrible ideas. Yeah.
Yeah. You that one guy at every party sort of thing. That's a great little phrase for it.
Or the one guy who's always trying to. What makes me so pissed off is like when people like are purposely trying to be funny, and it's like, and they're trying, like, especially, oh my God, if I'm going on a date and it's like somebody is like the whole date is about him trying to be funny. And I'm just like, dude, I don't like you because you're funny. You're not funny. Just shut the fuck up. Like, can I cuss on here? I don't even know if I can cuss.
Yeah, you can cuss, I think, right?
Oh, okay. But like, you're not funny. You're never going to be funny. I like you for other reasons. I do other things other than laugh. Now, but if you try to force yourself to make me to laugh and like, it's cringy, and I hate it. It's cringy.
See, and do you ever date? Oh, sorry, Ron. Go ahead.
One second. I think it's really interesting at what you said, because your entire comedy life has been based off of data retrieval. When you're saying things to your friend and they laugh, you're going, okay, that's funny. That's comedy. And maybe sometimes you don't even fully need to understand why your audience finds things funny. but it's the reaction to them that you've gotten that sort of approved the bits for you out in the wild, so to say. And I think that's fascinating because I'm on the spectrum and I love data. And you data gather in all these little points that work. That is when it's not about trying to be funny. Like when we look at comedians, technically, you're all trying to be funny, right? But none of you need to try to be funny because you've obviously been funny to get yourself to have the confidence to be on stage. You've got that sort of swag, if you will. So the concept of you going on a date with somebody who's not funny and is self-aware of their lack of funniness and is trying to be funny, that's just another comedy bit waiting to happen, because that is just I can't, as a woman, right? I would probably have paid good money to have like a little camera over your shoulder watching this. Like that is like reality TV gold for me. That's the stuff that I binge at night, just 90 Day Fiance cringe level. Do you find that is something that is that like a riz for dudes when you're a woman who has achieved what she's achieved, acting, comedy? Is that something they do? Because that is wild, right? If guys are trying to use comedy as a riz tactic with someone like yourself.
Riz tactic. I like
that. You said a riz? Wait, what's a riz? What's that?
A riz tactic, like charisma, like I was just rizzing.
Charisma. Oh, that's right. My kids say that all the time. Yeah, they like
the riz. You got a sigma.
Riz.
Come on, riz. Come on, skibbity toilet. You got to get with it, Tori. Skibbity toilet.
No, because my kids say it all the time. It's so corny. That's another thing. I tell them that shit is corny. Stop saying the riz,
dude. They're like, Dad, you have no riz. I was like, dude, I got the fucking riz.
For the first time in my life, there is a word that actually describes what I'm talking about. Because what we're talking about before, what is the word that we would use for that before that? Your chat up line, your game, like what is the word? Tell me, because finally I feel like I have a word that I can relate to.
But you use it. Just because I don't like it don't mean you can't use it. Because I can't walk around like, yo, you got the riz. It just sounds so, it just don't sound right.
You know what my daughter tells me? She goes, "You're done. You're done, Dad." Like if I'm like, Juliet, you cannot, you're done. And like, she just like pops off. I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
No, man, it's just, that's the word. So anyway, that is that a thing? Because that sounds mighty cringe. The comedic riz for a comedian. That must be a nightmare.
What you said, okay, because you said like 3 questions, and then
sorry,
Tori, with dating.
Sorry, I've got ADHD.
Are these guys you're dating? Do you date comedians, or are they regular guys trying to be funny because they know you're a comedian and that's what's cringe about it?
So I've dated another comedian before, and he never, it was cool because he knew, you know what I mean? Like he didn't have to try to be on all the time. It's like another thing. People feel like, oh, I got to be on all the time when I'm around a comedian think comedians are on all the time. It's like, no, what the fuck? We're not. Okay. This is a job, even though we're just good at our job.
Right.
Or we're not.
And I think and I think that's what's funny about comedians. What I learned is you think everybody on stage, they're hilarious on stage, they get off stage and they're just going to be that jovial person that's so funny and cool. And a lot of times you're like, oh no, that person is nothing like the person we saw on stage. That a lot of times, of course, we're bringing ourselves to stage, but it doesn't mean I realize there's comedians who were probably popular in school and social and were funny in their group of friends, but then there's other people who learned to be funny and are students of comedy. They
learn the formula, because there is definitely a formula. Yeah. And, and some people, everybody's comedy is not based off of personality. So, some people's comedy are based off how they write and how they know how to write a joke, and they know how to deliver a joke. So they're joke deliverers instead of joke tellers. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So, me, I know a lot of my comedy is based off of personality. I have a big personality. Yep. So on stage, I can do a lot of different act outs and different things that's going to help my joke land. Sitting home and writing is not my thing. I'll do it sometimes, but really I like to write on stage. That's just how
I do too. Yeah. Explain your writing process a little bit. Cause I'll do notes in my phone to remember an idea, but like, what is your process?
Yeah, that's what I do. I'll write notes in the phone, or if I hear something that's funny, or I'm like, oh, I like that. I can put that in or add that to a bit. That's how I do it. And then I host a lot too. So when I'm hosting, I go in there sometimes where I'm just gonna freestyle everything tonight, and then I record it on my phone, and then I go back and listen to everything that people laughed at, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this a bit. I'm gonna do this. This is a bit, and then that's usually how I get new material.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because I think early on there would be pressure of, oh, are you writing it down in your little joke book? And I'd have books, before the cell phones, we'd write it. Right. But I was still kind of doing the same thing. Like I remember trying to do verbatim stand-up comedy, is that pressure, it just ends up, for me, not working out. Now there's comedians like Ali Wong, who you watch 2 of her sets back to back. They're exactly the same. She just has an improv moment that she can swap a name out for whatever celebrity is there that night. But then other comedians, it's this, like you're saying, it's like DJing. You're feeling the vibe of the room, and you're like, let's play some Motown. Okay, let's now play this latest Kendrick, or and I think in comedy we kind of do that. We're DJing our jokes in a little bit,
Yeah. And improv, you have to, like, if you go, because see, here's another thing. I doubt if Ali Wong goes to the type of rooms me and you will go to, Samson.
Right.
It's just every comedian, like me and Samson, we will go, and I don't know. So I'm just assuming she doesn't give me, like, she'll go to these types of rooms where you could get a chicken wing thrown in your face. But we don't care. I live for that type of shit. I live for like those types of spots, because it's like, oh, if I can make them laugh, then over here and at the theater, that's gonna be easy. So I've done stand up like all over to different places. So that's where you really have to be quick on your feet. You have to improv. There is no set. You have to come with something.
Yeah. What's your favorite audiences to play?
I'll be honest. I like playing to the white people.
Really? That's interesting.
You know why? Because you guys actually listen. You listen and you actually are like, oh, I like that. Okay. And then you clap. It's like a polite clap, or it's like a laugh,
Yeah.
Sometimes with my people, I love my people to death. I do. But they sit there like, make me fucking laugh. Like, you better make. And I'm looking at them like, okay, loosen the fuck up. All right. What are you so upset for? Like, relax.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And what's funny is, like,
sometimes
I'm so drawn. That's why I'm drawn, I think, to black comedy, is because for what you just said, that if it's not funny, people will actually start talking loudly in the audience to pretty much let you know they're done, or they won't speak at all. But when you're funny, it's bigger than what a white audience is capable of doing. It's like, to me, it's like big wave surfing. But it is funny because as a black female, I understand in a white audience, you're getting almost that opposite effect of what I'm able to achieve in a black audience, Yeah.
Well, let me tell you this too about black audiences. Okay. One thing that they're more forgiving for other races than our own, right? So you come there 100%. And you start off and you're rapping and you doing that, and it's like, oh, this white boy can rap. Oh, we fuck with him. This white boy can do something.
It's not fair. Right.
Right. So it's like, I get it. But so for me too, when I do other audiences, it's like they probably expect me to be different than what I am too. So I guess in a sense, it kind of like puts me in a different layer too, just like with you. So sometimes opposites just attract, and and that's not always the case, because sometimes when I do certain rooms, when I do certain black rooms, it's different. They're like, oh, okay. And they don't expect me to be goofy. Like I got this bit where I'm acting like a hyena, and they don't expect that, because I dress really sexy and my hair is a certain way. So when I get really goofy, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we mess with her. She's not stuck up or a bitch. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting point. It's almost like, with you in a white audience, that acceptance is right away. And with me in a black audience, the acceptance is right away, because I know exactly what to do right off the top to, you know, and I love wide audiences, all kinds of audiences, but yeah.
Well, look, interesting. You sent me a clip here of
let's play that.
Torrei, let's put this up here. All right.
Oh, that's an old clip.
I know. I found it, Torrei.
If you've got any other clips you want played, Torrei, feel free to just.
That's fine. Listen, people, look, that's an old clip, but it's still funny. It's just an old clip.
I know. It's a fun. There's a funny little short one I found. So.
All right, let's go.
And the dating scene is so different. You know what I'm saying? Because getting married at 23, I ain't go to college. You know, I didn't get a chance to be a hoe and do all that shit. So, you know, trying to date at 40 and do hoe shit, it just don't work. You can't do the same hoe shit. Like, these bitches out here, they hoeing to another level. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to hoe with this old pussy. They like, we don't want that shit. I'm like, you don't want this old pussy? It still work. You know what I'm saying? It do still work. Like, I still drop it like it's hot. You see this ass squat. You saw that. I did a double dip. You saw that shit. You young niggas better recognize 40 is the new 20. For 2 seconds anyway, okay? Because I ain't going to be doing too much. But what I'm saying is I am out here.
Yeah, I like it. I get the vibe from that. It's good. It's good. It's good.
I love it. Yeah, Tori's hilarious.
Yeah, man. I talk about hoeing and you know, and like.
Yeah, it's so good.
You know, hoes, I fuck with hoes. Hoes are, you know, winning. I think
they make the world go round, Torrei.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, look at the top hoes in this world. Okay. The Kardashians are the top hoes in this world. Like, they have hoed so well. They're all billionaires. I love them dearly. You know, I respect the hustle. And they didn't took hoeing to such another level that they done turned Bruce into one. Okay. So it's like, come on.
You know,
like, that's how you know you're a good hoe. When you turn your dad into your mom, you know you're a good hoe.
That's so funny.
I actually interviewed the guy who brokered the release of the Kardashians and Paris Hilton's adult tapes, if you will. It was incredibly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It'll be the first and only celebrity sex tape broker that I'll ever meet. Very interesting guy, I have to say.
Ron, did you know that Kris Jenner had Kim and Ray J shoot that tape a second time because the first tape she didn't believe it was good enough?
Well, I mean, sure.
No.
I mean,
isn't that disgusting? Serious? I'm dead serious. Can you imagine your mom being like, honey, it's just, you didn't get smashed in enough. You know, we need to see some more smashing, honey, you know? So just tell Ray J to really, you know, don't make it, you know, look like it hurts too much, but just a little bit more. You know what I mean, honey?
Well,
I mean, can you imagine?
Let me turn the tables a little bit here, Torrei. And like, if this is like in the realm of we're not talking about this,
okay,
that's absolutely fine. But with everything that was going on in Hollywood right now, the legal cases that certain individuals are partaking in, what's your take on that situation? Have you got a take on it? And obviously, all crimes against individuals that we're discussing are pending, innocent until proven guilty. But when that broke last September, what
broke?
When the diddler was arrested, have you got a take on the case and sort of what's going on with that? And if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine too.
Oh, well, you know what? I don't know exactly what he did. Now, I did see the tape of him, you know, putting his hands on Cassie. I did not agree with that at all. That was
the hotel
horrible.
Tape. Yeah, we all seen that.
Yeah, that was horrific. But outside of that, what has the man done?
Okay, I'm with you.
What has he done? I mean, he had baby oil. Great. Okay, he had baby oil, but
it was spiked baby oil. They say some GHB.
I mean, maybe he'd like to do slip and slides. I don't know.
We're not going to speculate. We're not going to speculate.
Yeah, he did. I think
on what was in the oil or anything like that. But no, I just wondered because you mentioned that you knew a lot of rappers. Obviously, you've grown up. You've been around.
Oh, yeah. I know Diddy. Our kids go to school together, so I do know Diddy. I've been around Diddy. I've been to Diddy's parties, and you know, I was one questioning like, well, am I not cute enough? Why the fuck they ain't invite me to the after party?
Okay.
Like,
So
shit, I got to get sexier. What's going on?
You just got to be like, I need a massage. My shoulders are killing me.
Yeah.
Allegedly, yes, this is all allegedly. Thank you.
Yeah, allegedly, but like I said, I don't know, so I cannot speculate. All I know is that he did put his hands on a woman, and that was like that made me unfollow.
Well, I'll tell
I'm
you
not
what,
gonna lie.
Here's an interesting one then. If you've had quite a different perception of Diddy, kids go to school together, been to parties, that must be a positive impression that he's left on you. And it's rare to hear insight from somebody who, you know, is there. And when you were at these parties, there's clearly in the news they talk about the, you know, as one ends, one begins, and all the rest of it. And obviously, you never seen any of the things that are being speculated on, and these parties took place, and all the rest of it. Do you think a lot of Hollywood is worried about the sort of guilty by association factor that could leak out because of how quick the mainstream media points fingers and the public can judge?
You know, I don't know. I mean, if there are tapes like they say there is, I mean, what are they going to get arrested for having sex?
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know what's going on. So that's
Sure.
why I'm saying, like, I can't really
No, I'm with
speculate
you.
on it or too much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, nobody wants a sex tape to get out unless, you know, you are getting paid big money for it.
I don't
Well,
know.
look, don't worry. It was incredibly rude to sort of throw off-topic questions at you anyway. I could never have forgiven myself if I didn't ask you. So we're going to steer away from that now anyway. And I want to know what's next for you. Like, where's the next step? What is your focus right now in your drive? And yeah, let me hear what's next, because I imagine you're one of these individuals that always has focus on the next thing.
Yeah. Well, right now I just got a podcast deal. So I'm actually I start shooting my podcast, which I have a huge corporation behind me. I had a podcast before and it was independent. And now, thank you God, I have a huge corporation, Urban One, Radio One, TV One, they're conglomerate, and so they're behind me now. My podcast is called Brutally Honest with Torrei Hart. So I start shooting that actually in Atlanta next week, and so I'm super excited about that. Yeah, it's going to be huge.
So how long? So you're going to go to Atlanta for how long to shoot it? How many episodes? How does that work?
So I'm going to have to get a place in Atlanta. I'll probably be back and forth in Atlanta once a month. So that's going to be what I'm going to have to do, get an apartment, because I'll probably stay for the week, shoot, and then come back to LA.
Well,
you need to hire a producer at all?
Can I?
They have when I tell you, Samson, they are my sets being built like that. This is like I'm saying, when I say I have the engine finally behind me, I have it behind me, so I don't have to think about nothing. The hair, the makeup's taken care of. All I got to do is when they say this is the flight, show up.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna play a little advert, Torrei, just now. It's for my new project, and it's something that I'm trying to get as many eyes from people like yourself, people with reach, people with new projects coming up, that they can help and be involved in. Because I spent almost 10 years in the dark worlds trying to save people and children. And you'll see in the side chat, there's a lot of people that have this little logo that I've got on my screen up in the top corner that you can see. It looks like a little, to me, it looks like a little bear's face. And we're trying to start a movement that doesn't have a name, doesn't have a channel, doesn't have a set location, that stands against these horrible things. And I'm going to play the trailer for you just now. And I would really love for you, if there's anything that I can ask of you, is can you try and put this in front of as many people as you can if you want to get behind this, because it would mean the world to me. Because he's still there, Torrei? Are you still there, Samson?
I am still here, yeah. I was doing my fake freeze when I'm like,
you rascal. So we'll give Tori a minute to come back, and we'll hopefully she gets that sorted.
Sean, I'm glitching.
Are you still there, Tori?
Is she coming back? We lost her just when it was getting good. There she is. She's fighting to come back.
There she is.
Baby, come back. You can have it all for me.
Oh, man,
I was but I can't. We still have to take some questions from the side chat too. So
yeah, we do. We do.
Hot 12 left, everybody. This has been a great show so far, though.
Yeah, I mean, my brain did start buffering halfway through a bunch of questions earlier about dating and that.
No, you're doing great, man. Ron, you know what, Ron? That sexy, you can say anything with that Scottish accent. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the part. Like me, I sound stupid saying everything.
Okay, there
Ron.
we go. Sorry,
all right, there you go, Tori.
Okay. Come back again.
You're fine.
So we'll just jump into this, Tori, in case we lose you again. But this is the promotional video for my new podcast, my new mission, and yeah, let's watch. Here we go.
As a child, you would wait and watch from far away. You always knew that you'd be the one that would find you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream. From the
All right, yeah, a bit of an epic trailer, but that's the new podcast, the new movement, and I just, if at any point you remember, I would love for any help you could give to spread the word.
I'm getting pushed back again. Hold on 1 second.
That's all right. Don't worry.
Ron, you know what, too? It makes me think about like kind of our current state here in America with a lot of the immigration stuff going on. that they're saying, obviously, children have already been separated from families, and you can't help but think about predators preying on people during times like this. Like somebody, I don't know if it was, I think it was maybe you, Ron, who told me.
Let me put another way to you. What you've witnessed is the world's largest mass transportation of humans, probably that we'll ever see. This is by design. Okay, separation by design. Isolation.
Oh, remember Justin said earthquakes. I think it was him on the last show.
It was me, bro.
Oh, that was you. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was you, Ron. So that was just fascinating. You know, I had never even thought about that. That was you. Sorry.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like that's the whole purpose of the new podcast, is to educate people, educate parents, and let these nasty individuals know that we ain't having it anymore.
Yeah, and like you said, Ron, who can't get behind that movement? You know, you kind of know, like, okay, if you have a problem with this movement, there's something wrong with you, right?
Exactly. And like I say, it's not a channel, it's not a social media brand, it's a copyright-free symbol. Make your own stickers, posters, whatever, put it up in your town, put it in your business, and let these monsters know that we ain't standing for it and the walls are closing in. I'm excited.
Yeah, can we take some side chat questions real quick before we? And hey, Ron, is it possible for you to throw my barcode up on there that I just sent you on WhatsApp, or if it's too late? No, just so people can get my TikTok.
So you just need help. You need help with getting the word out?
Yeah, please.
With the shoot Samson, you got to shoot me like the links and stuff.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to the video on the
we're live tonight in about 25 minutes. So Samson, if you could send those links over and if you could share them anywhere for me, I would be massively grateful, Torrei.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send them to Torrei when we get off.
Yeah, no problem. We'll take some questions. Please make sure there's Samson's Sham right there. We'll share
nice. I love that. That's a great idea, Ron, how you have the barcode on there. You can cover up that's just my Transformer collection right over here. I have my Smurfs. I collect Smurfs. I'm kind of weird.
No problem. Ask me.
Like whenever I get a check, I'm like, I go to the vintage shop. There we go.
Yeah, that's the link. That's the specific link to send over to Torrei sent to you now, mate.
Beautiful.
Okay, well there you go. Where did you? This is the first of the allowed Kevin Hart questions. Where did you meet Kevin? What was the? How did that?
They weren't paying attention.
Oh, that's right.
Or maybe they just came in late.
Okay, what's the quiz? Who can answer this?
Right. You got to pay attention, children. With Community College of Philadelphia.
Community College in Philadelphia. There we go. That's all right. Easy one to recap. There's two.
Pam. Thank you, Pam.
You got to stay away from the topic of the rapper and his parties. We're not delving back into that. It was very rude of me to ask, but I had to ask. I mean, it's
well, you saw Kanye just called for him to be freed, so it's all.
Kanye just did a collaboration where they've released t-shirts. Now listen. If I'm releasing a collaboration with anyone, the collaboration is going to be more than a red t-shirt with a signature across the front of it. Like, just from a design point of view, how much more minimal can you get?
Sean John is Diddy's original clothing line, so that's why he did that.
Yeah,
I know that. But I mean,
I didn't even know about this. Kanye made a shirt with Diddy's name on it.
Yeah, and then
he's releasing a line.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's the Yeezy t-shirts with Sean John or whatever.
Yeezy shirts. Oh my god!
Yeah, man.
And wild. He's calling himself Yadoff. I don't know if you guys know that too. His background.
I love it. I love it. What's your favorite comedy club to perform in?
Favorite comedy club? I would have to say, wow, that's a good one. I mean, there's a lot of them though, but I love the city wineries. The Improv is dope. But I love the city wineries.
Yeah.
Yep. Is that in Atlanta?
They're all over. I had a tour.
They're all over, right?
Okay. Yeah. So my No Hard Feelings tour was with the wineries, And so it was Chicago, New York, Philly, Atlanta. I can't name them all because I can't think off the
that's
top.
fine.
But it was a bunch of them. But I really like, because it's kind of bougie and shit. So I like they had the charcuterie boards, and they had the acoustics. I could do music and comedy. So it was pretty dope.
That's cool. I love a good charcuterie board.
Right.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Well, look, listen, as abrupt this is, we need to sort of sadly wrap up this evening. But Torrei, I feel like there's a lot more to be had from an interview with you, especially I'd like to see some more clips compiled as well. So I think we'll definitely invite you back, and because you are very engaging, and I can see why you've done so well with stand-up, because you do sort of captivate when you talk, and you've got a very interesting edge with you too. So I can't wait to have you back if you'll do that. I can't thank you enough for your offer to help share my link for tonight. SAMSUN, thank you much for setting this up. The side chat, the mods, everyone, thank you all.
Please send that.
Of course. Yeah.
You should all just be pushed across to the live stream after this. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to Torrei. Thank you to SAMSUN. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to everyone. And I'll see you all in the next stream, and let's make this one a banger. And I really can't thank you all enough. So we'll see you all in the next.
Thank you. Hey, Ron, good to see you.